You know that feeling when you're trying to save money and it feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill in the rain while wearing roller skates? Like no matter how hard you try, how many lattes you skip, how many times you meal prep instead of ordering takeout, that number in your savings account barely moves. And then one day, something weird happens. The money starts growing faster. Not because you're suddenly making more or because you discovered some secret investment hack, but because you crossed an invisible threshold that changes everything about how money works in your life. That threshold isn't some massive number like 100,000 or $1 million. It's way smaller than that. And honestly, that's what makes it so powerful. Most people are out here thinking they need to become millionaires before their financial situation improves. But the real magic happens way earlier. There's a specific amount where the entire game changes, where your brain shifts from survival mode to growth mode, where compound interest stops being a concept in a textbook and becomes a force you can actually feel working in your favor. That amount is $20,000. And before you click away thinking that's still too much or that this is just another finance bro telling you to stop buying avocado toast, hear me out, because what I'm about to explain will completely change how you think about building wealth.
My name is James.
And I've spent years studying the psychology of money, talking to people at every income level, and analyzing what actually separates those who build wealth from those who stay stuck in the same financial patterns their entire lives. If you want to understand the real mechanics behind wealth building, instead of just hoping things magically get better someday, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like if this video ends up shifting your perspective even a little bit. Now here's what nobody tells you about saving your first $5,000. It's absolutely brutal, like genuinely one of the hardest things you'll ever do financially. And it's not because 5,000 is some astronomical amount of money. It's because when you're starting from zero, every single dollar feels like a sacrifice. You're saying no to things constantly. Your friends want to go out, but you're staying home because you're trying to build your emergency fund. There's a sale on something you've wanted for months, but you transfer that money to savings instead. Your car makes a weird noise and you're praying it goes away because you can't afford repairs right now without derailing your entire savings plan. Every unexpected expense feels like a catastrophe because you don't have any buffer. Your phone breaks, your dog needs to go to the vet, your roommate moves out and suddenly you're covering extra rent. Each of these things can completely wipe out weeks or even months of progress. It's demoralizing in a way that people who've never been there can't fully understand. You're working your tail off, being disciplined, doing everything right, and it feels like the universe is conspiring against you. But here's what's really happening during that brutal first 5,000. You're not just saving money, you're completely rewiring your brain. You're building the discipline muscle that most people never develop. You're learning to delay gratification in a world that's designed to make you spend money right now. Every streaming service, every app, every advertisement is engineered by teams of psychologists to separate you from your cash as quickly as possible. And you're fighting against all of that, often alone, often without support, often while watching everyone around you live it up on credit cards and car payments they can't actually afford. The reason this first milestone is so hard is because you're operating in what psychologists call scarcity mode. Your brain is constantly scanning for threats, constantly worried about survival, constantly making decisions based on fear rather than opportunity. When you don't have money saved, you can't think long-term because you're too busy managing short-term crises. It's like trying to plan your dream vacation while your house is actively on fire. Your mental bandwidth is completely consumed by immediate problems. But something remarkable starts happening once you cross that $5,000 mark. It's subtle at first. You sleep a little better. When your check engine light comes on, you're annoyed instead of terrified. You can say yes to opportunities occasionally without having a panic attack about your bank account. That 5,000 isn't enough to change your life completely, but it's enough to give you breathing room. It's enough to shift from pure survival mode to something slightly more stable. And this is where most people make a critical mistake. They hit 5,000, feel that little bit of relief, and immediately blow it on something they've been wanting. A vacation, a new TV, a down payment on a car they can't really afford. They treat their savings like a reward for good behavior, instead of understanding what it actually is, which is the foundation of everything that comes next. Because here's where the math gets absolutely wild. Let's say you're saving $1,000 every month. Getting to that first $5,000 takes 5 months of grinding, sacrifice, and discipline. It's not easy. Most people give up somewhere along the way because it feels impossible and the progress feels too slow. But if you push through and keep going, something magical happens. Your next $5,000 doesn't take another 5 months. It takes less time. Why? Because now you've got that first $5,000 working alongside your monthly contributions. If you're earning even a modest 8% return, that $5,000 is generating its own money. It's not a lot at first, maybe 30 or 40 bucks a month, but it's money you didn't have to work for. Money that showed up because your existing money was working on your behalf. By the time you hit $10,000, you've got even more money generating returns. Your investment snowball is getting bigger. And this is where people's minds get blown, because the acceleration doesn't stop, it speeds up. Your third $5,000 takes even less time than your second. Your fourth $5,000 is faster still. Once you hit $20,000, you're in a completely different universe than where you started. That $20,000 earning 8% annually is generating $1,600 a year in returns. That's over $130 a month showing up without you lifting a finger. That's a car payment. That's groceries. That's real money that's funding your life while you're doing literally anything else. But the real transformation at $20,000 isn't even about the math, although the math is incredible. The real shift is psychological. When you have $20,000 in the bank, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop making decisions based on fear and start making decisions based on opportunity. Before you had money saved, every choice was filtered through scarcity. You took the first job offer that came along because you couldn't afford to be picky. You stayed in situations you hated because leaving felt too risky. You said yes to things you didn't want to do because you needed the money. But $20,000 gives you options, and options are the most valuable thing money can buy. Your boss is being unreasonable, you can push back because you're not desperate. A better opportunity comes along, but it requires taking a risk. You can actually consider it instead of immediately dismissing it out of fear. You want to invest in yourself, take a course, start a side business, try something new. You have the runway to do it. This is what wealthy people mean when they say money goes to money. It's not some cosmic conspiracy. It's that having money creates opportunities to make more money, and those opportunities compound just like your investments do. Here's something else that happens at $20,000 that will change how you see every purchase for the rest of your life. You start thinking in terms of opportunity cost. That $30,000 car isn't just $30,000. It's $30,000 that could have grown to over $200,000 in your investment account over 20 years. Suddenly, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like a strategic choice that's funding your future freedom. That expensive apartment in the trendy neighborhood isn't just higher rent, it's the difference between retiring at 65 and retiring at 50. That daily coffee habit isn't just $4, it's $4 that could have been working for you for decades. Now, I'm not saying you should never enjoy anything or that you should live like a monk eating ramen in a cardboard box. That's miserable and unsustainable. What I'm saying is that once you understand how money actually works, once you've experienced the power of having $20,000 working for you, your priorities naturally shift. You stop caring about impressing people you don't even like with stuff you don't actually want. You stop making purchases to fill emotional voids, or because you're bored, or because everyone else is doing it. You start making intentional choices about where your money goes, because you understand that every dollar is either working for you or against you. There's no neutral. And here's the part that might make you uncomfortable but needs to be said. The average person spends more on their car over their lifetime than it would take to achieve complete financial independence. Between car payments, insurance, gas, and maintenance, most people are dropping $600 to $800 every month on transportation. Over 40 years, that's $400,000 or more just to get from point A to point B. Meanwhile, they're complaining they can't afford to save for retirement. It's like watching someone spend a fortune on gym memberships they never use while saying they can't afford healthy food. The math doesn't math. But when you have $20,000 saved, you see this clearly. You understand that the shiny new car is actually a wealth destroyer, not a wealth builder. You realize that the person driving the 10-year-old Honda is probably sleeping better at night than the person driving the brand new BMW with a $600 monthly payment. This mindset shift extends to everything: housing, vacations, clothes, gadgets, subscriptions. Everything gets filtered through the lens of what it's actually costing you in terms of future freedom. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start thinking this way, you often realize you don't actually want half the stuff you thought you wanted. That bigger apartment? The extra space would be nice, but is it really worth delaying your financial independence by 5 years? That expensive hobby? It's fun, but there are probably cheaper ways to get the same satisfaction. You're not becoming a penny-pinching miser. You're becoming intentional. You're designing your life instead of just reacting to it. So here's what I want you to understand. Your first $5,000 is going to be hard, like really hard. There will be moments where you want to give up, where it feels pointless, where everyone around you seems to be having more fun because they're not worried about saving. Push through anyway, because once you hit that first milestone and keep going toward 20,000, everything changes. Your money starts working for you instead of you working for money. Your brain shifts from scarcity to abundance. Your options multiply. Your future becomes something you're actively building instead of something you're passively hoping for. Leave a comment below telling me where you are on this journey. Are you grinding toward that first 5,000? Did you just hit 20,000 and feel that shift I'm talking about? Let's build a community of people who actually understand how this works. And if this video helped you see money differently, smash that like button and subscribe, because your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. Trust me, they'll thank you for it.